Hello, everyone. My name is Hunter, and I'm one of your local HEB beer and wine managers here in San Antonio. And tonight, it's all about New Year's Eve and celebrating with your friends and family. And tonight, I will be celebrating with Chef Charlotte. Chef Charlotte,
Hey,
how's it going?
that's pretty good, pretty good. How
Yeah,
are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm ready to get some bubbles going.
Are
What
you
about you?
ready to ring in at 2022?
I think I am. I think I'm ready. But I do have a question of my own because I know you're also like a bubble self-proclaimed like expert,
Yes.
right? So why do we use champagne for celebratory occasions?
Such a good question. So,
Ah,
I actually was thinking about that earlier, so I Googled it.
okay.
And there is so much information out there on
Yeah.
how when champagne was invented, and why we use
Yeah.
it for celebratory purposes. But after all of my readings, the gist of I guess the gist of the story is that champagne was popular in the royal courts, European royal courts in the
Okay.
1700s, and it's associated with wealth and nobility.
Okay.
But as the science of champagne making progressed and they got better at it,
Mhm.
the price of champagne became more affordable to
The
regular
everyday people.
everyday people. However, it was still marketed as this aspirational drink, right?
Yes.
And
This
so,
luxury. Yeah.
exactly, it still wasn't. It wasn't inexpensive enough to have on your everyday table, so
Yeah.
Monday through Friday, but you could still have it for celebratory occasions. So that is
Nice.
how it came to be. And then also just the effervescence of it, and just the
The
bubbliness
light,
and the way,
enjoyability. Yeah.
yes, and the way it overflows is sort of symbolic of, celebratory experiences.
Celebrations.
Yeah,
Yeah. Awesome. Well, that is a beautiful explanation of like what we're trying to do. We're trying to have like a beautiful, light, bubbly, fun cheers into the New Year's.
right?
Yeah. So let's start with domestic sparkling.
Okay,
Let's jump on over to Seattle area.
okay,
We'll go to Whimsical Bubbles. I think, if you remember, we talked about their traditional bubbles, just the brute,
yes,
in the Halloween class.
we did.
Yeah,
It
that's
was the
where
blue
we.
bottle, or the
Yes,
turquoise in color.
the
Yeah,
peacock feather.
yeah,
That's what it was. Yeah, this is
yes,
more like flamingo feathers on this
okay,
one. But if you remember this one, part of the Domaine Saint Michelle family, we
okay,
actually have its sister wine coming up next, but
okay.
we'll get to that one in just a minute. So we were also talking earlier about the difference between domestic and imported.
Yes.
So there's like cava, prosecco, champagne, and
Sparkling white,
yeah,
or just sparkling.
sparkling wine. Yeah. So there's tons of different classifications, and that really impacts basically uh, price point, a joy of like complexity,
Okay.
basically of the wine. I'm a fan of like our everyday wines because you can enjoy them every day. Wow, that was a big pop. Oh,
Um,
look at that.
See?
We're ready. We are ready
Cheers!
to enjoy. And that's why we have a New Year's Eve class, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, actually, fun little tip just because that just happened on camera and, we're live and that's a little embarrassing, I'm supposed to be the expert. No. Basically, when that happens, you just needed to chill just a tiny bit more.
Okay.
Yeah. So, just fun fact.
Also, that could have been one of the bottles that I dropped on my way in here, so also I'm sorry.
That's all right. It
Okay.
happens. At least it didn't break.
That's what I said.
Yeah, like, ugh. That's some good glass. So anyways, our rosé bubbles, I'm a huge fan of rosé on its own, and I'm an even larger fan of rosé sparkling wines or champagnes. So like I said, this one part of the Chateau Saint Michelle family, coming from the like Willamette Valley or even like Horse Heaven Hills. It's a beautiful bottle of wine with notes of like strawberry, little bitty petite bubbles, but a little bit larger than its sister wine. And this one, I will definitely say, just with like spicy dishes,
Yeah.
a little like even sushi would be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, I wish you could smell it too. It smells like just literally like wild strawberries. And a little bit of like apple. It's
I
good.
love that.
Yeah.
So are we drinking these in order in which, are we opening these bottles, drinking? That's what I wish.
Yeah, me
Are
too.
we enjoying these bottles or opening these bottles in the order in which you would drink them?
Yes, that's the
Okay.
order I would drink them. Of course, don't let anyone put any rules on your enjoyment of anything. So, if you want to go in a different order, go in that order. If you prefer sweet wine up front, then start with your sweet wines up front. We're gonna end on a Moscato,
Okay.
because I like ending with like that dessert round.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a quick question for you.
What's going on?
When they make a rosé,
Correct.
um, are they so they tell us how that happens? How
Okay.
are they making this?
Yeah, so it's a super fun process, and this kind of applies to all rosé, whether it's sparkling or not. This one happens to be Chardonnay and Pinot Noir.
Okay.
So the main like thing or question, Chardonnay is a white wine and Pinot Noir is a red. So what they do when they first press all these grapes together in a big giant tank, they're gonna leave those skins from the Pinot Noir and those stems just a little bit, and I'm talking just a few minutes in contact after that initial press of the wine. So this is probably like, because it's such a light, like beautiful, almost like salmon color, I would say this one's probably like 10, 15, 20 minutes max of just exposure of those skin cells or
Wow.
from the Pinot Noir. Yeah.
Wow. And so some people, I think there's some common misconceptions that maybe they're blending a red wine and a
Yeah.
white wine, but in this case, they're actually doing it in a very traditional method. They're
Yes.
leaving it, and I didn't realize it was a matter of minutes. I thought it was days or something like that.
No,
That's,
it's such a short amount of
yeah,
time. And
fascinating.
yeah, and of course every harvest and vintage is a little bit different. Every winemaker is a little bit
Yeah.
different. So it really depends on like the flavor they're going for, the color, the balance with acidity. So
Okay.
it's really, like the winemaker's playground. But I love this one, and it's also fun just to make like by the pool in
Yeah.
the summertime. I mean, it's only like New Year's Eve
Or
right now.
Saturday sushi
Yeah.
night.
Or Saturday sushi night, yeah. So let's jump on over to its sister or brother wine,
Okay.
Domaine Saint Michel. So this is their Brut Rosé, and this is one of my favorites out of the Columbia Valley. So
Okay.
slightly different location, same winery or same parent company. Yeah, it's fantastic. Have you been out there yet?
I have not, but you have been.
I did. I was actually at 14 Hands, which is one of their other sister wineries,
Okay.
and Saint Michel back in, oh gosh, what was it? Mid-August, I believe. Mid to late August. Honestly, I don't even remember. Time flies. Beautiful grounds. They do amazing concerts. It's just so fun out there, and they're very hospitable too. So, Domaine Saint Michel out of Columbia Valley, Brut Rosé here. I like this one. The main difference is the bubbles are going to be a little bit finer, a little bit smaller,
Okay.
and it's going to have more of like a berry, like a mixed berry and like a little bit of like a spice note to it. And I would definitely pair this with, what do you think? Chicken and waffles?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brunch.
Chicken
New
and
Year's
waffles?
Eve brunch, please.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I love that. Okay, I want to talk really quick about the way you're opening the wine.
Yes.
You did it with such care, and it wasn't like you didn't shake it up. You're not popping bub.
Which you
like-
can if you want.
There's no, but is this the official way or the expert way or
Yeah.
the appropriate way to do it?
So the appropriate way to do it, and I'm probably still messing it up a little bit. You of course imagine the cork on the top. I like using a paper towel or just like a towel like this
Yes.
in my own home. You take it, you cover that cork after you've removed
The cage.
the cage. Thank you. And you actually hold the cork in place and you twist the bottle at about a 45-degree angle there.
You twist the bottle, not
the cork. Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
I love it.
And having that napkin or towel or whatever it is over the cork will help it from like flying into the ceiling or hitting one of your guests. Well, unless you're trying to hit them. I don't know.
Unless that's what you're going for.
Yeah. I mean, if you are popping bottles and doing all that craziness, I mean,
I don't want
power
to wear
you.
an eye patch in the new year. So I like,
Yeah. And you're always on camera. So you
I
can't.
can't have a black eye.
Yeah, you can't. You can't do that. But you mentioned brunch. So let's say we start our evening just with like one or two glasses, then we
Yeah.
move on to red wine or
Okay.
whatever, We have these handy dandy kitchen and table accessories that just launched. We have a whole bunch of them just kind of laying around just to glance at. They're beautiful, this like copper or gold to it, But this is a champagne saver. It's so easy. You literally, it has a little like rubber sealant over
Yeah.
it. You just put it over the top. You push down, maybe. This one's very strong.
There you go.
And then you lock these little edges around the bottom rim of
Okay.
just about where the cage wrapped around. And that's essentially what you're doing. You're basically re-putting a cork in a cage
Yeah.
over this bottle. And this will stay carbonated for 1 to 3 days in your fridge. That's pretty handy, right?
It is, because sometimes I like this for every day, because sometimes
Yeah.
I want to have bubbles, and my partner does not want to have bubbles.
Yes.
And then we have this great, bottle debate on what we're going to have. So now I
what
can
to open.
just save it.
Yeah. I usually don't have leftover bubbles because that's like self-proclaimed. Like pretty much all I drink now is like Napa Cab and bubbles.
I'm on my way to your house. Tell me
Yes,
what time.
yes,
6 o'clock?
yeah.
Perfect.
Perfect. New Year's Eve, right? Speaking of which, do you have any New Year's Eve plans?
Nope.
Yeah, me either. I'm
None.
just working all over the place,
Yeah.
so I just want to go home and enjoy one of these bottles of
Yeah.
wine.
We'll watch a movie or something.
Yeah,
I don't
you know, a little cheers.
Yeah.
That actually is a good point because you do have young children as
Yes.
well.
Yes.
You definitely want to pick up one of our like alcohol removed sparkling wines, or we also have like our Welch's sparkling beverages as well. Don't forget about the kids and their New Year's Eve
Right?
celebrations. But let's get to the big, beautiful bottle of Piper Hetzig here, shall
So
we?
this is a true French champagne from
This is.
the Champagne region. Tell us
Yes.
about it.
So Piper Hetzig is actually like a joining of two families. The Hetzig family were the ones who started it, and that's way back when, back into the royal courts of Europe. It was a certain queen's favorite champagne, Marie Antoinette.
There we go.
Yeah, Marie Antoinette's favorite champagne house was the Hetzig house. And then I think around the 1800s, that's when the Piper family kind of joined in, but don't quote me on that.
Okay.
But beautiful bottle, and we were kind of talking a little bit earlier about sweetness,
Yes.
right? So Piper Hetzig, this essential is going to be a brut or an extra brut.
Okay.
Excuse me, an extra brut.
So
What is extra brut? Do you know?
there's differences, but there's like brut, extra dry.
There's brut nature as well.
Okay.
So basically, that's denoting or talking about the level of sweetness in the wine.
Okay.
This one is a brut extra or an extra brut, however you want to say it. And that means it's basically 0 cal, 0 sugar. So when people are looking for like the lowest healthy for you wines, brut nature will be, or brut extra will be some of the like best for you because it's low cal, low sugar. It's beautiful. Bone dry is
Bone
kind of like
dry. Okay.
another descriptor for it. And let's give it a little smell, shall we?
I love that you're drinking this in a champagne coupe.
Coupe. I love coupes.
Yeah. I feel like we're channeling some like Gatsby here.
Yes, definitely some like Roaring 20s, Gatsby era, like just fun celebratory evening.
So, in my readings while
Yeah.
I was reading, because I'm apparently a champagne expert now, self-proclaimed, the cage was part of the, like one of the inventions they added to the bottles
Yes.
to keep them from exploding. So
Correct.
part of in the beginning when they were making champagne way back when,
Yeah,
they
that
lost like,
monk Dom Perignon was
Yeah.
experimenting,
Right.
with a bunch of champagne.
they lost
yeah.
like half the bottles because they would explode.
Yeah.
And so that's champagne is poured into a thicker glass bottle,
Yes.
and the cage keeps the cork on.
Nice. See, you should be up here, right over here with me.
No, just
No.
my little fun fact.
Just
I'm
off
really good at Googling behind the camera, okay?
Yeah. No, that's 100% true. And like we mentioned earlier, you accidentally dropped a bottle on the way in and it didn't explode. I imagine if we didn't have that lovely invention of that cage,
Right?
we would have a lot more mistakes. And we don't want to waste bubbles.
No,
No.
never.
And this one I love in a coupe because I drink all my like true French champagne in coupes because it gives it that more air exposure that you want in a red wine, you also want in your champagne. I like coupes because you can just smell that bouquet. I can smell it and it's just sitting right here on the
Yeah.
on the table. And I can smell it already and it's just like brioche, toasty, almond. And like honestly, like it'll have like a little salinity on the finish.
Okay.
Yeah, and I know you like a brioche yeasty
That
quality.
bready, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
No, it's super tasty. I enjoy it as well.
So, that bready yeasty note comes
Hmm.
from the way they ferment.
Well, and
The
then the three grape varietals that are in
Okay,
it: Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and Pinot Meunier.
okay,
Don't quote me on that. It's Pinot. The last one's so hard for me to say because it
yeah.
is French and they're
I
they're
don't judge.
yeah, their
I'm not judging.
pronunciations are a little a little bit different. But definitely that Chardonnay will give it that more of like that brioche
I
yeasty
love it.
quality. Yeah,
And
and it,
there's
oh,
two ways that they make the champagne. Or make sparkling wines.
yes,
Am I right?
you are. You
Can
are
you tell me
correct.
about them?
Yeah, so French champagne or true champagne or traditional method is basically they press, ferment the juice all into the bottle. Then they add a little triage de expedition,
Okay.
also French, and I'm probably not pronouncing that
It's
right.
okay. No judgment here.
It is basically a mix of grape must, which is the initial like press of the juice, yeast, and then sugar. They throw it in the bottle, cork it, and cage it. Use that cage. Store it upside down. They do this for I think they turn it about 5 to 7 times over the course of a couple months,
Hmm.
probably. Then they basically it's called disgorging. They take the cork out and the yeast and everything stored upside down. So the yeast, the dead yeast, is all at the bottom at the neck here.
Yep.
They disgorge it, so cork, bottle the neck, yeast, sugar, all that's gone. And then what they do is they then add dosage to it. Dosage is basically that kind of similar mixture from the beginning that got it going basically and fermenting. But it's just like a little bit of sugar or a little bit more sugar. And then that will keep the wine going even longer. And then they
Okay.
seal it back into aging. And then next thing you know, it's in your fridge.
In my glass.
In your
About to
glass.
be in
Yeah.
my belly.
So that's the French way, and
Okay.
that's part of that like initial sticker price, I guess, if you will,
Okay.
because it does take months to do. It's a lot more steps, and it just takes longer.
Yes.
Separate from all the like tariffs and shipping and everything that goes on
There
with
you
all
go.
that. But then we have our domestic ones like Whimsical and then the Domaine Saint Michel. These are done in more of like the Cremant method, so a big giant tank basically.
Okay.
So they press everything, and these are rosés. So then they'll leave the Pinot Noir skin on there just to give that little color. Take it off to be filtered. After that, it goes into another tank, and then they're just basically infusing it with CO2 to
Okay.
whatever atmospheric pressure they're looking for.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then it's put into the bottle.
Yes, and then
Okay.
it's corked, sealed, and ready to go. And within, a matter of months. Whereas
Okay.
like champagne is probably more like a year or so.
So, on one hand, we have like fermentation in the bottle, the like
Yes.
carbonation that all happens in the bottle,
Mhm.
and then in some we have where it's done in a large tank, right?
Yes.
Still
Yeah.
beautiful, still very
Still,
high
yeah.
quality, and then it is put in the bottle.
Yeah, because
Okay.
it's you're still getting those beautiful
Yeah.
like Chardonnay, Pinot Noir um, characteristics singing in your glass, and
I
that's what
love
you're
that.
looking for.
Singing in your glass.
And that second method is usually used for prosecco, cava, pretty much any other sparkling wine.
Okay.
But there's of course outliers everywhere.
Of course.
So, yeah, dessert round. Oh wait, we didn't do a pairing with this.
No.
New Year's Eve with
Okay.
friends. That's what I would enjoy this with. What about
Caviar?
food?
Caviar?
Caviar.
Caviar?
Wow. Yeah. I'm not a fish fan, but caviar sounds good.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
It could be fun.
I agree.
Champagne and fried chicken, champagne and friends, champagne
Yeah.
and caviar. Really, it's like
Champagne and cheese.
yeah,
Or
anything.
champagne and chocolate, even.
Yeah,
Champagne's so versatile. It's so fun.
it is.
I love it. And speaking of like a dessert round,
I don't know. What would you pair with a bean and cheese taco? Champagne.
whimsical,
Perfect. Done.
bubbles.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
having.
A brunch. A whimsical, bubbly brunch brute. I think it'd be super fun.
Yeah.
Of course, any of these, like a side of fruit, would be awesome and enjoyable. But dessert round, I know you like leading sometimes with sweet, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's tasty.
You
Right?
know, people. I've talked to wine drinkers and different people. And people are like, oh, I would never drink anything sweet. I would. It's delicious. It's made to
Yeah,
be. There's a time and place for everything,
I agree.
and I think that Moscato d'Asti can be fun,
Moscato d'Asti can be fun, especially as like I mean a digestif or even like an aperitif, like
right?
at the beginning or the end. It's awesome. I think we know this Piramazo brand pretty well, right?
Yeah.
This winery. Yeah. Ooh, that cork is in there. That's good. That means it's sealed for enjoyment.
I love this gold bottle though.
Yeah. So that actually brings up a really good point. Primo they have kind of two lines with us. One has a blue label in a clear bottle where you can see the beautiful Moscato d'Asti juice. Um, that one is grown kind of more like in a valley, but it's beautiful. It's Italy. How could it not be gorgeous? This one, though, the difference between the two, this one's grown at a higher elevation where they actually have to climb up there and hand harvest these grapes
Okay.
for fermentation. And this one has a slight little effervescence to it. It's not going to be as carbonated as our first three glasses.
Okay.
Yeah, so just little petite bubbles on it. And I can smell it already. It's like flowers, honeysuckle. It smells delicious. Little honey.
I like Moscato with something real spicy.
Yeah. Or
Like
Riesling too, right?
like level 10 Thai food spicy.
Yeah.
I think it goes
That's a
well.
perfect balance
Yeah.
because with pairing wine, you can go two ways. You could complement, so like with like. So you could do sugar cookies with this one,
Okay.
or you could do, like Chef Charlotte, spicy Thai chicken wings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Done.
Because then you have that spicy, your palate's on fire, and then you just need something a little sweet just to cleanse it.
Yeah, and the like effervescence sort of like tickles
Yeah.
and cleans the palate. I'm a big fan.
Oh, I love it too, right?
Um, Also, I will tell you that we use Moscato d'Asti to make cocktails with.
Oh, nice.
So it's a great
Ooh, yum.
mixer, if you will. So you could add a little gin, maybe
Oh, gosh.
some juice, maybe some Saint Germain, and have
A little citrus even.
yeah,
Like,
cocktail.
yeah. That sounds great. I've actually heard of people, I know we're kind of like out of the holidays and like turkey, but people have used Moscato to brine their turkey. It makes a
Wow.
great, like, just brine for anything. Any poultry, I would say it could probably work with.
That's
That's fun,
fascinating.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what else is going on? What do you think? What do you think your favorite one is tonight?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm probably gonna get the Piper,
Yeah,
the Piper Heidsieck. I'm probably gonna. I'm a big fan of French champagne,
me too.
so I'm probably gonna do that. It's a celebratory occasion,
Yeah, we're enjoying
Yeah.
the new year, or
Of
about
course.
to do the new
and
year.
I'll wear my pajamas
Yeah.
and watch some bad TV.
And drink that French royalty
yeah,
bubbly wine, right?
right.
I
Maybe
love
I'll
it.
wear a dress in my own house, but I'm definitely not gonna go out. It's
No.
gonna be a slow evening.
Yeah, I don't blame you. And all these wines are fantastic with just like a wide variety of food too. Like you could do some of our deli charcuterie board. You could do a meal, or like how I enjoy it by itself.
You could just grab some sushi and some dumplings. Too.
Oh, dumplings. That's a good idea.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What are those little like sweet buns, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The gyoza.
Yeah, gyoza. Yeah, so all
hungry.
these are versatile. I mean, they're great wines to enjoy with your friends, family, at any point of the year, whether it's a birthday, anniversary, or bringing in the new year. Charlotte, speaking of that, what's going on in the new year? What do we have going on? This is our last class of the year.
Last class of the year. So in January, we are going to do a 4-part series where we're just going to teach people how to cook lean in the new year, how to
Clean,
incorporate
lean.
some more fruits and vegetables into their diet, some fibers, some whole
Some
grains.
better for you.
Better for you type things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone likes to reset in the new year.
I
so-
agree. And don't forget, Brute Extra or Brute Nature, lowest cal, lowest sugar, across
There you go.
anything. It doesn't have to be French. Those styles are everywhere.
I love that.
Yeah, that's fun.
We're going to have you back for that.
I hope so. Yeah, because we do have some low cal and low sugar options kind of like everywhere. So with that being said, I definitely just want to wish everyone a happy new year and thank you for ringing in the New Year's with HEB.
Cheers.
Cheers.